everybody. Welcome. Your Saltwater Guide, Captain Dave Hansen, flying solo today. Captain Al Clowers has been out fishing all morning with that family, with the young man, and on his birthday. Pablo's out fishing with another family, and Justin's at Catalina with Rylan and Madden for Rylan's birthday. So you got me today, and it's Promar Ahi USA Monday. We talk about Promar Ahi products all the time on Mondays. Today's no different. You're going to get to see a little bit more. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Accara jigs. And gang, I'm going to, like I try to do whenever I'm by myself, I'm going to open this up to anybody that wants to leave a question or a comment. You can throw it up on at 949-374-0786. I'll answer your questions to the best of my knowledge. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about. There's a rumor going around right now that there's no bait in California, which is the furthest thing from the truth. There's plenty of bait. There's bait all over the place. The problem is the fish are biting. It's the middle of summer, and everybody's going fishing. So therefore, the bait companies are doing their very best to keep up. But you got to remember, it's fishing. Hey, Tim Ogilvy, it's fishing. You guys can leave a comment on YouTube. You can leave a comment on Facebook. You can leave a comment on my telephone. But we're going to try to break down the myth that's going around that there's no bait. There's bait. We got to quit talking about that there's no bait, because remember how hard we all fought to keep the sand bass open. Just because they're having a hard time catching enough bait to supply all the boats doesn't mean there's no bait. It just means that it's a high demand time of year. And that's what's going on, gang. So just take it easy. Don't go on social media and start spraying lies all over the place and then look up in a year and go, why did they take away our bait? That's because you guys are running around telling the world there's no bait in Southern California. There's plenty of bait. It's just that time of year. If you remember a couple years ago when those Dorado were biting, it was tough to keep enough bait in the bait receivers. We got beautiful weather. It's the end of the children's summer vacation, and everybody wants to go fishing. There's yellowtail biting, bluefin are biting, calico bass are biting, sea bass are biting, and everybody wants to go fishing. So just slow your jets down, slow down. Remember, you got to remember, whatever you're saying on social media, the people that want to close everything are listening. So you got to be careful. Oh, God, there's so many just weird people in the world. I'm sorry. I'm blocking them as fast as I can. Oh, my gosh. This is crazy. I don't know where these people came from, why they believe that they need to come on my podcast and talk. But sorry, gang. I'm doing the best I can. I'm blocking them as fast as I can. Yeah, those people don't need any. We don't even need to talk about them. But John Emerson, you threw the 80-gram Accara jig at the foamers this weekend. No luck yet. Yeah, I know. It's going to have to be the exact perfect cast and the exact perfect time to get bit. But I can pretty much promise you, you will get bit on the Accara jig. If it's sinking down in the middle of a foamer, if you just got a little short or you went too far, but if you put it right dead center in the middle, I believe maybe you did. Maybe it just wasn't your day. I don't know. But it looked like you had a fun time out there anyway. But you want to get some salmon, it sounds like you need to go to Alaska or something there, Matthew. But yeah, the Accara jig is a phenomenal lure. John Stanley, good morning, good afternoon. Hello. Yep, Kelly girl's here with me at this beautiful resort. We're at this 5-star resort, hanging out, having a staycation, going back and forth, taking care of the monkey, and then coming back over here to this resort. Check it out. This is the view from our window. Yeah, that's where we are right now, gang. It's pretty incredible. I wanted to have the ocean background on the show, but the problem is then I look as dark as my shirt. Hey, John. John Cyclone hit the building with us. Hey, welcome, buddy. Looks like you had a big crowd for your live show last night. That's awesome. I looked for a little bit. It looked like you had like 250 people on there. That's a phenomenal crew watching. I remember when I first started watching it, 30 or 40 was cool. You had 250 plus people last night. And I love that video you giving that young man that jersey. My goodness, what a great human being you are. Thank you very much. What's up, Chuck? Arnie, good to see you in the house. And tomorrow we got a great show for you with the Michael Folks, the man, the myth, the legend, is going to be joining us inside sport fishing, the history of sport fishing, with a gentleman that's been around for a very, very long time in the industry, Bob Lorman, Vietnam vet, plus got to change my diapers when I was a little kid. He's going to join us tomorrow. He started out working for my father when he was 14 years old on the end of the San Clemente, maybe even earlier than that. So we're going to check in with him and Michael Folks tomorrow. It's going to be a fun show. But today, where am I at? I'm at the LeBlanc Hotel in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. I live in Cabo, and we're doing a staycation. We're going back and forth from our house back to the resort, back and forth. It's pretty spectacular here, gang, and it is just an absolutely gorgeous day down here in Cabo. If you like the heat, it's 96 degrees, but it's a dry heat. Yeah, okay. It's actually not a dry heat here. It's actually a humid heat, but it's okay. I'm doing the best I can. But what we need to talk about, gang, is as we move deeper into the season, and too many people are jumping on social media when they have a bad day or when they don't understand what's going on out in the water, just like this bait situation, and they're saying there's no more bait left. There's even a gentleman over on a blog on Facebook, if you would, or a post, whatever you want to call it, saying that the Mexican government caught all the bait. You got to remember, gang, it's a privilege to fish in Mexico. It's not a right. So you got to be careful what you're saying on social media, gang. Just because you don't understand English, Spanish, doesn't mean they don't understand English. So you got to understand that. You got to be very, very careful with the words you're using. If you're not careful, just like I said about the sand bass, we got very, very lucky. We dodged a huge bullet on the sand bass closures because a bunch of us jumped in and helped wake everybody up and show them that there are sand bass. And can you imagine if we weren't allowed to catch sand bass right now? I think the count for sand bass yesterday in Southern California for the sport boats alone, just the sport boats, and that's where they get all their scientific information, is the fish counts, which is absolutely ridiculous. But they had 1,100 sand bass yesterday. There's nothing wrong with that. That's awesome that they were able to catch fish to take home and eat. And then the private boaters, but they wanted a zero take. And it's because people get on social media platforms and then actually talk like they understand or they know something. And then the people that want to close everything get on there and they're like, wow, this is going to be easy to take away these sand bass. Look at them. They don't even know what they're talking about, and then they're going to fight amongst each other. We can grab these sand bass. It's just unbelievable, gang. You got to be very, very careful with your words, especially posting it on social media. Remember, when you post it on social media, it's forever. It's not going anywhere. They'll be able to pull it up forever. So when you say there's no bait left in California, that's kind of a big statement to make, seeing how you probably go out of one harbor. You probably know that harbor kind of a little bit. And that's kind of your whole globe. That's your world, is that little harbor that you go out of. And to say there's no bait left in California, that's a pretty bold statement for someone with really no knowledge. And you can go look at this guy's post on Facebook. It's kind of scary. I personally don't need to get involved in all this garbage going on out there, but I do have a massive platform here on my social media platform, and I'll tell you, there is plenty of bait. Everything's cyclical. We've had a great year with the bait, but you got to understand, everybody's fishing right now. Everybody's trying to get that last trip in before the kids go back to school. Plus, all the people that go out on the sport fishing boats, they're all going because bluefin are biting, yellowtail are biting, sea bass are biting, and bass are biting. So the demand for the live bait is extremely high right now. And you don't understand that live bait, you have to go out and fish for that. So the bait boat, Everingham Bait Company, Long Beach Bait Company, San Pedro Bait Company, Oceanside Bait Company, those guys are out fishing all night long to catch bait for you guys. And they can't be in every place at the exact same time. So they're down here fishing on the border for sardines or anchovies, and the fish move up and they're in Solana Beach or up in San Onofre or up in LA Harbor. They're moving around. So just because they don't have bait at your harbor, there's no reason to jump on social media and tell the world that there's no bait in the ocean. That's ridiculous. Plus, there's environmentalists out there right now that are trying to take away our live bait fishery. They want it more than you can even imagine for no reason at all, except for people jumping on social media and making these lame comments. So when you see one of those lame comments, just especially those of you that have fishing clubs and run fishing clubs and you know these people, you should call them up on the side, talk to them and say, what do you expect to achieve by saying what you're saying? Do you want to close down the live bait fishery? Do you want to close down fishing, period? Why are you on a fishing channel if you don't want to fish? Why are you on a fishing why do you fish if you think there's no fish? That one always blows my mind. People that are out fishing and then going home and telling people there's no fish in the ocean because of your lack of ability of knowing how to fish. You're going to run around and tell everybody there's no fish. When you jump on social media and tell people there's no fish, there's people that want to close fishing that are listening. Be careful. All I'm trying to tell you guys is be careful when you're out there spewing lies and misinformation. You got to be careful. So that being said, we talked about that enough. Gang, if any of you have any questions today, I'm solo flying. Usually we have Justin, Pablo, and Al, but thank goodness they're all busy today. We've been waiting for them to all be busy on the same day. And we're lucky they're all busy today, and there's nothing wrong with that. So you guys got me today, and I'll answer any comments, any questions you have, anything you want to talk about. Feel free to send in the question. Yeah, that's it, Arnie. Yep. Lousy hunter. That's a vegan. Yep. Don't make any sense. Vegans kill more animals than anybody. Ted Nugent told you all that if you listen to Uncle Teddy. But if you guys got any questions, you got anything you want to talk about, you can text me at 949-374-0786, or you can leave the comment up on the screen on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you're watching this podcast from. You can leave the comments up on the screen, and I'll do my very best to answer all your comments. And another thing moving forward is the phenomenal calico bass bite right now at Catalina. I don't know if you watched Justin yesterday live. His Rylan and Madden and their friend, between the three little boys, they probably caught somewhere between 300 and 500 bass in about 2.5 hours. And I'm not making it up. Go back and look. It was live. You can watch it. The calico bass think it's springtime over at Catalina right now. They're in the spawn mode. When you watch them bringing those calicos up on the boat, their cheeks are all gold. The females are super, super white. They're really white looking. They turn those colors on their bodies on and off. Really, the calicos when they're in that spawn mode, the boys get those golden cheeks and the females get those super white colors on the sides of them. It's a really fun time to be alive. Good. I'm glad the hookup baits worked up at Lee Vining. That's kind of what Chad developed them for. You got to hang out and talk to him, Tim, on the boat. Those hookup baits are phenomenal. My nephew and I, we used them when we went to Wyoming and Montana. They were working phenomenal for big brown trout, big rainbow trout. I'm glad you had a good time fishing with them up in Lee Vining. Kelly doesn't want to hear about you going to Lee Vining there, Tim. Right, Kelly? That's Kelly loves Lee Vining, loves the little cabins there. That's one of our Zen places. Kelly and I will go up there and stay at the cabins in Lee Vining, and then we'll go out fly fishing for the day. And Kelly girl can just hang out and watch me fly fish. She likes to fly fish, but she'd rather just hang out and watch. It's like her zen. So thinking you got to go there and we didn't get to go, that's kind of cool, I guess. And then John Emerson was just out there. There's bait all over the place, right? Yeah, there's plenty of bait. We don't need to close down our live bait fishery because you guys can't catch. There you go, Robert. Yep. It's just the demand is so high. Captain Al Clowers told me yesterday there was 70 boats in line at the bait barge in San Diego. So I wanted to bring that up. If there's 70 private boats in the line and then the other 40 sport boats that go out of San Diego every day, the long range boats, the half day boats, the 3/4 day boats, the 6-pack charter boats, you put all those together with the 70 private boaters in the morning. Think of that bait supply and how demanding that is on the bait company. And they are out there fishing all night long, gang. And they're catching what they can and getting it in as quick as they can and dumping it in the bait barge. I heard stories of they're allowing 1 scoop per boat or a half scoop per boat. Just why do they do that? So that everybody gets a chance to have a little bit of live bait. When there's that many boats in line and they only have X amount of baits, gang, that's why. It's not because Mexico overfished it. It's not because we overfished. It's because the demand is so high. And you can only put so much live bait on a live bait boat. So you need to understand all those things. And don't go online and help the closures. Please, I'm begging you. And if you see your friends picking a booger and getting ready to eat it, don't let them do it. Don't let them do it. Call them up, say, hey. And those of you that are presidents of these fishing clubs and you see your members on the social media making these lame comments, remember, they want to close down fishing and they'll use everything they possibly can. So all of you guys that are involved in fishing clubs and all of you guys that are involved in friends, I know some of your friends are on that post over there on Facebook. I know some of your friends are. Call them up. Tell them, what are you trying to do? Close fishing? Don't do us any favors. We don't need any more help getting fishing closed. So just be careful what you're saying out there. And then as far as the Accara jig, I'm sorry, we're going to jump back over to what I was talking about. The Accara jig is an amazing lure. You watched me, Ron, and Pat use it up in Alaska. You've watched Justin use it out at Catalina or on his docks. You've seen Pablo use it. We haven't had Al use it too much because he's just wailing on him down there on the grubs, on the Berkeley grubs down there in the bay. But I think anywhere you throw those things in the water. Here, I want you to see what I'm talking about here, and we'll get right back into the show. And remember, gang, I want to hear from you guys. I want you to leave a phone call, text message me, call me, leave a message up here. You guys have questions. You guys want to know what's going on out of the water. You're not all members of the website. I understand. Send me something. Let me know. I want to help everybody. I want all of us to be able to fish whenever we have the opportunity. Check this out. All right, gang, your saltwater guide, Dave Hansen. We're out here at the ICAST show with Promar, and they just introduced their new series of the Accara jig. Now, you've seen me use this Accara jig in Alaska, down in Cabo, and all over the place in Southern California. Now, what is really cool, they've stepped it up. We have the 170 gram Accara, and we have the 130 gram, which is going to be great for fishing in Southern California for that deep water rockfish. But the really cool thing about it, over here in Florida, they're using these things on those deeper reefs, the 100, 120 foot reefs, catching snapper, catching Goliath grouper, catching great barracuda Why do I know that? Because everyone's showing me all the pictures of all the fish they're catching. The 170 grams is going to get you straight to the bottom, which is the most important thing. Then once it gets down there, you do the slow pitch where you lift the rod tip up and let it flutter down slowly. These things are insane. The reaction bite is incredible. You will not be disappointed if you try these in the slow pitch jigging. That is sweeping the nation. So check out the Accara jigs in the 130 and the 170 gram. You will not be disappointed. All right, gang, that's the Accara jigs I'm talking about. They're a little bit bigger now, the 130 and 170 grams. Those things are insane. And I can't even wait to get out there and try them. Where you guys are yo-yoing for the yellowtail, those things would work insane. You just got to be ready because they're going to inhale those things and swallow them down to their butt. So you better be ready when you get bit on those things to slam that thing in gear and wind as fast as you can and get them off the bottom before they rock you. As we're starting to look at all the things that are happening here, the water temperature is starting to warm up. There's all kinds of fish coming up the line. The yellowfin tuna is probably 200 miles south of the border. There's pretty good yellowfin tuna signs. That fish has no problem swimming up here. You might see it in September, October. It's just as it has been the last few years, it's a summer that's just a little bit later. But I was talking to one of my good friends, Kenny, last night, and we were talking. When we were young, I mean, I'm 64, almost 64 years old. When we were young, kids didn't go back to school until September. So now the kids are going back to school in August, so we think, wow, summer's over. No, summer in Southern California usually starts around the middle of July and goes until the end of September. Now that kids go back to school so early, which I don't even understand. Please, somebody on here, try to explain to me how makes more sense to send children back to school in the hottest days of the year when everyone's telling us that the school systems have no money and the state of California has no money, but we're sending our kids back to school in the hottest time of the year. Is it free to run the air conditioners at the schools in August? I don't understand that. What happened to common sense? I don't understand it. Hey, Cubby, welcome. So as we're moving along through the season, though, you guys need to understand all the stuff's biting everywhere. I mean, we've had people go out there bluefin tuna fishing and not catch them, and then they come back and they tell me, well, I didn't have a kite, and I didn't have this, and I didn't have that. Why are you going offshore if you don't have what you need to go offshore with? Why would you waste that money? Why would you waste that time? Why would you do that if you don't have what it takes to get bit out there? If you look at some of the superstars of this thing, Billy Kay and Brandon Hayward, and some of the superstars of this fishing thing, they're going out there with the kites. Dwayne Diego, those guys have a kite. They have the Mad Max. They have everything when they go offshore because it's imperative that they catch something. You guys go offshore, you don't even have a pair of binoculars. I don't understand it. Doesn't make sense. Make sure you have exactly what you need when you go offshore to catch these fish because they're out there. People are coming back to the dock and telling me, yeah, we saw a bunch of fish today. I'm like, all right, did you drop the flying fish in the middle of them? Well, no, we didn't have a kite. What are you doing going offshore if you don't have the kite, if you don't have what you need when you go offshore? You got to have what you need, gang. It's super imperative. It's super important. And a good pair of binoculars. I'm trying to get Jimmy Kingsmill to get back on the show here before we get into the War Heroes on Water tournament. See if we got any gyro stabilizing binoculars left to get into some of your guys' hands as we start to move in. Now, the marlin are showing up pretty good out here. There's starting to be a lot of marlin in Southern California. And if you listen to Pete Grosbeck's podcast the other day with Michael Folks, he's telling you how important it is to have a good pair of binoculars if you want to catch some of this stuff that's out here. You just really have to pay attention now and be prepared. How can you get all that stuff that you need to be prepared? Well, you go to our website, yoursaltwaterguide.com, and it'll tell you exactly what you need, where you need to be, and what you need to do when you get there. Those things are super important. Now, a lot of that bait is smaller, and I'm hearing the smaller Mad Mac working good. Anthony was out there day before yesterday. He got bit really good when he dropped down to the smaller Mad Mac. It just, you got to have what you need when you're out there. You can't go to the tackle shop out there on the water. So you got to make sure that you have what you need on the boat. So it's super important to go through your tackle now before you get out there and make sure you have everything you need. And like I said earlier, if you guys have any questions, if you want to talk about anything specific, go ahead and throw up a comment or throw something on my phone at 949-374-0786. I'd be more than happy to answer all your questions, whatever they may be. I want to try to help everybody catch more fish. And then those of you that are members, it's super important to leave those reports on the website because you don't know who you're helping. When you leave that report, it's not so much a bragging place as it is an informational gathering place. What John Stanley does before he goes fishing is he goes through the reports and sees what you guys are catching down in his zone, in his area, and he wants to see and he wants to know what possibly can happen. John Emerson, he wants to know what's going on in the Dana Point area. Up there at the Channel Islands, Robert Graper, he wants to know what's going on, what you guys are catching up there. So remember how important it is. Good report, bad report, whatever report you leave on our website, our community is, I believe, second to none. As you start to look at all the reports and all the information that's being shared. But we have a lot of new members that are just getting into this, and it helps them out tremendously to see the success that you guys are having. Also, it helps them out tremendously to see what you guys are seeing out there and how you're putting the puzzle together and how you're solving what's going on. Like if you look at Anthony's post from yesterday, he talks about all the bluefin he saw, the smaller gray bluefin, then the bigger bluefin, then the bait. And as he put the puzzle together, he found out that if he put out a smaller Mad Mac, bam, got a fish right away. Those things are super important. John Emerson, you let everybody know that the cedar plug's helping you out tremendously. It's getting the boat stopped. When you're offshore, the number one thing you want to do is get the boat stopped. And John, you're really good with sharing the information. Emerson and Stanley and Tim Ogilvy and most of the members, the longtime members, very good at sharing the information. But the rest of the people that are just getting involved here, it's good for you guys to share too what you're doing, what mistakes you're making. We're not here to judge, and we're never going to judge. And that's the really cool thing about our community, I believe, is we don't allow anybody to share negativity, but we do need your information. You know, if you went over to one of the other platforms and shared anything that wasn't success, oh my gosh, you just get the living bejesus beat out of you. On our website, though, it all matters. Good days, bad days, whatever kind of mistake you made, because we're all thinking, hey, maybe I should try this, maybe I should try that. And then if we find out that you tried it and it didn't work, oh my gosh, that is such a great day for all of us to know that we don't have to try that because you already tried it. Like I say on a lot of those videos, I made every single mistake you could possibly make in my career as fishing. So I've already made all the mistakes that you don't have to. But there's still mistakes to make and there's still triumphs to have. And the best way to do it is to share as much information as we possibly can. That's what you get over at Your Saltwater Guide. The community, I believe, is second to none. And I think there's a lot of people on here that will tell you that. And the other thing about our community is we've created a phenomenal family. What's going on right now with Darren and Lisa over at Catalina, and Justin helped them. And Darren's boat broke down. He jumped on the Catalina Express, got over there. They're making the greatest time out of bad situation, but it was because the community came together as a family and everybody helped each other out. Just like when somebody's boat broke down at the launch ramp, John. Everybody in our community is there to help each other. John Stanley, you've helped so many people when they watch you and your granddaughters out fishing. That is just a tremendous thing to show people it's okay to go fishing. You've turned on so many children now, young women and young men that saw your granddaughters out fishing. And they're like, I want to go do that. That looks so much fun. Your granddaughters are having the time of their lives. And you look at our community and they're saying, thank you, John Stanley, for that. And then we go to the mid we go to Louisiana and we talk to John Cyclone and find out that we can all go catfish fishing wherever there's water. You probably got a good chance of catching a catfish. And then Kelly and I's son Riley talks to John for an hour and a half and goes out there and starts executing what John taught him, and now he's catching catfish. This is the family that we're building at Your Saltwater Guide. This is the family that I wish you could be involved in, because it's such a positive place to hang out. Now, I understand a lot of people aren't into that positive energy. They need that negative. There are websites that'll feed that negative for you all day, every day. You can go over there. Somebody can leave that comment and let them know where the negative website is. You guys can go over there and be all neg all you want. It's crazy, but you don't have to. And we're trying to show the world that it's okay to share information. Because one thing I try to share with everybody as we talk the old days when I'm on the show with Michael Folks talking about the history of sport fishing. When I grew up, if you got caught sharing information, you were out. Well, you probably go swimming. You were out of the club. You weren't going to get any information the next day when you were out there trying to find some fish to catch. But I don't know, 25 years ago or so, I thought that was stupid. I wanted to help all the private boaters so that they could catch more fish. But then as we started to get more intelligent and understand how things work, we found out that not only does it help the private boater, it helps the tackle company, it helps the donut shop, it helps the bait barge, it helps the industry, the line, the hook manufacturers, the line manufacturers, the boat manufacturers, the rod manufacturers, everybody, if you share the information so that everybody can be successful when they go out fishing. I've had calls before, back when I did reports for other websites, from the bait company saying, are you going to make a report today? We want to sell bait. Are you going to make a report today? We want to sell tackle. We want to sell tickets to get on the boat. For some reason, the industry's been listening to me for a very long time, gang, and it's kind of cool now that we've gone full circle and we have a website that you can all participate in. It's kind of a new website. It's only 7 years old, but I believe in that short period of 7 years, we've built a hell of a community and learned a lot from each other. Learned a lot about how to act out in the fishing world, learned a lot about how to catch more fish, learned a lot about tackle, learned a lot about line, learned a lot about human nature and how we can all work together with our common goal to keep fishing open. That's kind of what we're all here for. That's kind of what we all want, is to make sure that our grandchildren can go fishing. So that's why I wish you would all get more involved in the community section of the website. Even whatever level you're at, you get on there, you ask a question, you share some information you have. If you were to go in there and look at the community, there's a bunch of people asking questions that aren't getting answered, which I'm like, wait a minute. Aren't we all working together? Help me out, you guys. Get in there and answer these comments. Let's go. Even if you only did it once, or even if you only know one way, or you only know one thing, share that. Let the people know. We all need to work together in our common goal to keep fishing open and to keep catching fish. Because I'll promise you, if you're not catching fish when you go out fishing, and I don't mean every single trip, because no one's going to catch fish every single time. It's just fishing. That's the way it is. But if you're not being consistent and knowing why and sharing your information, then you probably won't be in this industry much longer, or you probably won't be owning your boat. So I just want everybody to understand that we can all work together and make this a phenomenal community. And it is already, but it can be better. I'm always trying to make it better, work on it, making it better. And I don't see anybody with any questions, Kelly girl. Do you have a question, Kelly?
I do not.
Kelly doesn't have any questions. Thank you, John Emerson. We try. The really cool thing about being on that website, gang, and what's the website? YourSaltwaterGuide.com. Like John Emerson's saying right here. It's just, maybe you thought you knew, but now to get a little bit of confidence, to know a little bit more about this, a little bit more about that, it just helps so much moving forward. And this fishing thing is not easy by any stretch of the imagination to figure out on your own. I've seen Snapgram and other places like that where they say, oh, you just got to go out there and figure it out on your own like I had to. Could you imagine? Kelly and I are flying up to go see her dad. We're flying to Indiana, and we want the Arkansas, excuse me. I'm sorry. He keeps moving. I can't keep up with him. And we're flying up to Arkansas, and Kelly and I are at the airport going, God, I hope this guy figures out how to fly this plane on his own today. That'll be awesome, wouldn't it? Figure out how to do it on your own. Why would you want to try to figure out how to do it on your own when you're taking your friends and family out fishing? It's the same concept. It's the same thing. Your friends and family want to catch fish. They got on your boat with you. They think you're the guy that's going to take them out there, or the gal that's going to take them out there and catch them a bunch of fish. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to figure it out on my own. Why? And nobody's got that much time, gang. I give you everything you need to be successful when you go out fishing. Every single thing you need to be successful. Now, are you going to watch the videos? I don't know. But if you don't watch the videos, there's a pretty good chance you're not going to be successful when you go out there trying to catch a fish. It's super important. It's super imperative. And gang, back to the, I'm all over the place. But back to those Accara jigs. You can get any size Accara jig you want, from the 5 gram to the 170 gram. They're everywhere in between. You can catch trout on them. You can catch largemouth bass on them, or you can catch tuna on them. But you're going to save 15% using that QR code I threw up on the screen. But while you're over at the Promar website, gang, you're going to find out that they sell the bait scoops that you have on your boat in your bait tank. They sell the squid braille scoops. They sell the sabiki rods. They sell the live deception flash lures. They sell the cedar plugs, the daisy chain cedar plugs, and so much more. And because you're watching me on this podcast, you can use the QR code that's on the screen right there, or you can simply go to the website if you're just listening while you're driving around in your car, and put in the code YSWG, and you're going to save 15% on all the products available at Promar. That's pretty cool that they allow that. Almost all of our sponsors have a great discount for you if you purchase any of the products that they have, just simply by watching us. And our live fishing shows, my goodness, the amount of people that watch those every day, it's extraordinary. And we have so many great deals on the live fishing shows for people too. So there's many, many ways to save, many ways to have fun out on the water. All I can tell you, gang, is you got to get out there and you got to go fishing. It's the time of year. Yeah, John, you're actually bringing fish home that she can eat. She's got to be loving that. She's got to love that. But gang, Kelly and I are at this beautiful 5-star resort. I didn't want to miss. I wanted to make sure I touched everybody. I was going to answer any questions anybody had, but obviously no one has any questions I wanted to answer. So we're going to get back to hanging out at this beautiful resort. We're going to go down and hang out at this crappy little pool down here and see what's going on down there. It's only 96 degrees right now, sweetie. How much fun is that going to be? Kelly's super excited to be out in the heat. She loves it. Anybody, any more questions, or any questions? Not anymore. And then don't miss tomorrow's show. It's going to be pretty fun with Bob Lorman and Michael Folks and myself talking about the good old days off the San Clemente Pier. That's where Bob grew up, working for my father on the end of the San Clemente Pier. And don't forget, yeah, Tim, did you really? Did you really? This is my favorite thing from that movie. I love this. This makes me laugh so hard every time I hear this. One of my very most favorite movies. Listen.
Spaz make me want to puke.
Is that funny or what? That's where I got it from. I couldn't I tried to remember it because I've been using that since the 70s. Where did I come up with that?
Spaz make me want to puke.
The greatest movie. Have a great day, everybody. Turn off the news. They're all lying. Watch us tomorrow. It's going to be a phenomenal podcast. We may have some live fishing to go before. If you didn't see this morning, go check out Al's live fishing show this morning. It was pretty spectacular.